Al Green's defiant response after being ejected from Congress. If you care about bold political stances, free speech, and the fight for social justice, then be sure to subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the biggest stories in American politics. Representative Al Green of Texas made headlines recently when he was forcibly removed from Congress after interrupting President Donald Trump's address. His response to the incident has sparked both support and criticism, highlighting the deep divisions in American politics today. The incident: Green's protest during Trump's address. On March 4, 2025, President Donald Trump delivered a joint address to Congress, outlining his administration's policies and legislative agenda. However, as he spoke about his administration's proposed cuts to Medicaid, Representative Al Green stood up and shouted, "You have no mandate to cut Medicaid." His protest was a direct challenge to Trump's claims of a broad political mandate following his 2024 re-election. House Speaker Mike Johnson immediately called for order, warning Green that such interruptions were against the chamber's decorum. But Green refused to be silenced. He continued to speak out, insisting that the proposed Medicaid cuts would disproportionately harm vulnerable communities. As a result, Johnson directed the sergeant-at-arms to remove Green from the chamber. As security escorted him out, Green raised his fist in defiance, a symbolic gesture reminiscent of civil rights protests of the past. His removal from the chamber was swift, but it set off a firestorm of debate across the nation. Immediate response: Green's justification for his actions. Following his removal, Green wasted no time in defending his actions. Standing outside the chamber, he addressed reporters, saying, "I'll accept the punishment, but it's worth it to let people know that there is no mandate to cut Medicaid." His remarks emphasized his commitment to fighting for the rights of the poor and marginalized. Green pointed out that his constituents in Texas rely heavily on Medicaid for essential healthcare services. He argued that proposed cuts would devastate millions of Americans, including children, seniors, and people with disabilities. "This is not about decorum," he added. "This is about life and death for many people in my district and across the country." House censure, a formal reprimand. Green's actions led to swift disciplinary measures. On March 6, 2025, the House of Representatives voted to censure him in a 224 to 198 vote. While the majority of Democrats opposed the resolution, 10 Democratic lawmakers joined Republicans in voting to reprimand Green for violating House rules. A censure is one of the most serious disciplinary actions a member of Congress can face, short of expulsion. While it does not remove a lawmaker from office, it serves as a formal statement of disapproval and can carry political consequences. Green, however, remained undeterred. Green's perspective: civil rights and social justice. Al Green framed his protest within the broader context of civil rights activism. In his post-censure remarks, he invoked the legacy of John Lewis, a civil rights icon who famously encouraged activists to get into good trouble for the sake of justice. "Sometimes you must defy the rules to highlight injustice," Green said. Green had a long history of advocating for marginalized communities. He was one of the earliest and most vocal proponents of impeachment proceedings against Trump during his first term, arguing that the former president's rhetoric and policies were dangerous for democracy. His willingness to take political risks has earned him both praise and criticism over the years. Reactions: support and condemnation. Green's actions sparked mixed reactions across the political spectrum. Supporters: many progressive activists and civil rights organizations praise Green for taking a stand against what they see as harmful healthcare policies. The NAACP and several healthcare advocacy groups released statements in support of Green's protest, arguing that Medicaid cuts would disproportionately impact Black and Latino communities. Some Democratic lawmakers, including Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Cori Bush, defended Green's right to protest and criticized the censure vote as an attempt to silence dissent. Social media was flooded with hashtags like #StandWithAlGreen and #GoodTrouble, as thousands of users applauded his courage. Critics: Republicans condemned Green's actions as a breach of congressional decorum. House Speaker Mike Johnson stated, Congress must maintain order and respect during official proceedings. Representative Green's outburst was inappropriate and unacceptable. Even some moderate Democrats expressed concern about Green's approach, arguing that there are more effective ways to challenge policies than disrupting official speeches. Conservative media outlets framed the incident as an example of Democratic extremism, arguing that it set a dangerous precedent for future congressional behavior. The broader implications. Green's protest and the ensuing controversy reflect larger debates about how politicians should respond to policies they find unjust. In an era of increasing political polarization, moments like this raise important questions. Should lawmakers be willing to break procedural rules to bring attention to critical issues? Does maintaining decorum outweigh the urgency of addressing social justice concerns? How should the public respond when politicians take bold, controversial stances? These are not easy questions to answer, but they are essential for understanding the evolving nature of political activism in America. Green's next steps. Despite the censure, Green has vowed to continue his fight against Medicaid cuts and other policies he believes harm vulnerable communities. He has announced plans to introduce new legislation aimed at expanding Medicaid coverage, rather than reducing it. Additionally, he has been fundraising off the controversy, turning the incident into a rallying cry for his supporters. Green's defiance has also positioned him as a key figure in progressive politics. Some analysts speculate that his actions could elevate his profile within the Democratic Party, potentially leading to greater influence in future policy debates. Al Green's removal from Congress and subsequent censure represent more than just a moment of political drama. They reflect the deep ideological divides shaping modern American politics. His response, one of defiance and determination, has solidified his status as a champion for social justice, even at the cost of political consequences. The incident serves as a reminder that political activism often requires sacrifice. Whether one agrees with Green's methods or not, his protest has sparked an important conversation about the intersection of political procedure, morality, and advocacy. What do you think? Should lawmakers be willing to disrupt proceedings to fight for justice, or should they abide by institutional rules? Let us know your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth analysis of today's most pressing political issues.